Hi, today we're going to talk to you about basic engine performance. Going to show you the lab scope where we hook up at with the OBD2. Excuse me. There's the connector. That's what the inside looks like. Alright, and here's the actual scan tool itself. I'm going to show you DTC codes, live data. Alright, and the engine coolant temperature sensor 1 is showing it's at its limit. More than likely it's not working. Everything else seems to be doing fine. Short-term fuel trim is more for a now problem, and long-term fuel trim is more for a long-term fuel problem. Alright, here are the few other things that live data will show you. Right now, for what we're talking about, the more important ones are up here on the top. That one is the more effective one, and you can see how it says -40. Most of the time whenever you read it and it says -40 or it'll say positive 250, it usually shows that it's a bad sensor. Fuel trim for short and long term is doing okay. I'm going to show you how to read codes now. Right now we have one permanent DTC, which is the engine coolant temperature sensor, showing a low voltage. These are the possibilities of why it's happening. I'll show you how to erase codes. I'm not going to erase them just yet because somebody else is trying to do something, but I'll show you how to do it here in just a second. Alright, we're going to go ahead and erase the codes. Yes, the engine is off. Alright, so it cleared the codes. And because this one is an ongoing code, it's going to pop right back up. And there it is. Another thing on the fuel trim, a lot of times if it's positive, it means it's running lean, and if it's negative, that means it's running rich and it had to take some away. And this is a return-less fuel system. You can tell by the one fuel line going to the fuel rail, and here I'm showing you a return type with two lines going to the fuel rail. Alright, and here we have a drive-by wire. On the previous car here, this one, on the Honda, it has a drive-by cable. That's the throttle position sensor, and I have somebody snapping the throttle for me with the key on. And you can see the live data there. Few things I want to go ahead and mention. The PID is a parameter ID. It gives all different types of information from the freeze frame, map, your vehicle speed sensor, your intake, fuel systems. We also got what are called hard faults, and those you can actually feel. And then a soft fault is more like a gas cap loose or just an engine light being on. It's not much of a drivability issue. Another thing is your ECM could be in a closed loop, which it has warmed up. Your OT runs off a time toggle and temperature. If it was in an open loop, it would be missing the O2 input or not the temp, and it runs rich to heat up the car whenever you first start it up. Alright, here we're going to show you the ECT temp. And that right there is showing a while it is hooked up. You can tell that it is shorted. And there you go. That's unplugged. Went back to 5-volt reference, which means it's an internal short. And to double check that, if you don't have another sensor to swap out, just to do a quick check, you can get your meter and you can do a resistance check. Trying to show you where I unhooked it at. It's kind of hard to see there, but right now I'm doing a resistance check, and it's not showing too much resistance. Only about, on average, about 8